Okay, so we're on to the next project. Got the garden all fenced in, finally, completely done. I'm standing right next to the mini pig pen. Got that done. We got the garden all laid out. You can see some of the black weed barriers. Those are going to be her walking lanes, and in between will be her planting rows. So we got that all done. And now on to the next project is going to be the duck house. Hopefully by the end of this video, I'll turn that pile of materials into a duck coop. The ducks are getting bigger. They're coming outside. I've got 2 weeks. They'll be 6 weeks old and ready to come out. If I absolutely had to push it to 3 weeks, I could push it to 3 weeks if I had to. I don't want to, but by 3 weeks, they're going to be out because we're getting the corners crossed. So I have to get this done, and then right where I'm standing, that one, the duck coop or duck house is going to go. That post that it's next to, it's going to go that way, and then this location I'm standing in is going to be another coop for the silkies. The silkies are just not even a week old yet, so we have time for them. I've got 6 weeks to get this one built, but I've got to hurry up and get that one built. At the time I'm making this video, I don't remember if I made a video about the coop I enclosed. So I got that one done for the chickens, the ducks, then the silkies. So busy in the summertime, non-stop. So here we go. We'll see what we can do. I had these pressure treated 4x6s laying around, so I'm going to use them as stilts basically for the feet for the duck house. I'm going to put them on the base of it, so it'll lift it up about 2 feet off the ground. I'm going to put the reason why I'm lifting it up off the ground, you might say, well, a duck coop should be on the ground because the ducks aren't good at going up ramps. 100% true, but I don't have any trees in this area that they're going to be in. No trees, no shade, no protection. So several reasons why I want them to be able to go underneath the coop is that protection from weather, just if they choose to get out of it. Ducks are not generally bothered by the rain or snow, but I've had ducks that went underneath the coop to get out of some rain if they feel like it. Also for predators, aerial predators, they'll have no protection if I don't give them something to get underneath. And then also from the sun in the summertime, it gets pretty hot up here. So I'm going to lift it up 2 feet, about 2 feet off the ground, so that they can go underneath it. And I'll play it by ear. If summer rolls around, I want them to have a little bit more shade, maybe I'll just put a tarp up for them as well. But I'd rather do this than have a tarp up and look kind of ugly. So I'll have to try and make like a long and wide ramp to make it easy for them to go up the ramp. Ducks aren't really that great at going up and down the ramp, so hopefully it'll work out. And I'm doing the same thing for the silky coop that I build as well. All right, so we got the base done. So all we lack now is finishing. We're almost there. So sheet of plywood. It looks like I got it level. It looks kind of skewed by eye, but I'll go around and check it all. It looks pretty level though. Maybe not. Home Depot lumber, what are you gonna do? Level there, level. close to being level. Not level. So my my two ends are skewed, but everything else is level. So these three 2x4s are level. The two sides are level, but the two ends are not. Very interesting. Okay, I think I've got it close enough for government work. It'll look good from the other side of the property. It'll look just fine. So I think we're good there. So pretty level. So plywood and start building up from there. So it's only gonna be for ducks. They're not gonna mind. Okay, so at this point, the base is done, the floor is done. This sheet of plywood is on here. I got a lot of pieces of OSB, and I forget what I got them for. I got them for the roof, I thought. So I've got 4 pieces for the 2 coops. I'll figure it out. I have my plans all drawn up and everything. I'm using T111 for the sides. That's a plywood, the exterior plywood with the grooves in it. Looks nice. We'll just paint that. For the floor, I used sheathing. I didn't want to use the OSB. I wanted solid, solid plywood, so it would stand up a little bit better to the mess, to the their manure that they're going to drop inside. One of the best things you could do, what a lot of people do, is get a roll of linoleum and lay it out. Floor linoleum, and lay it out and use that to cover the plywood that they put down on the floor of their duck or chicken coop. And that's the best way to go. That way nothing leaks through to the plywood. You keep down on the smells. It's easy to clean. I try to get some home. I was only going to buy the cheapest one I could get. I wasn't going to spend top dollar on linoleum for a duck or chicken coop. So I know I'm pretty cheap, but I got a lot of stuff to do and a lot of money to spend. I need to cut corners where I can. So what I did was I just went to the paint section of Home Depot, and they'll do it at either Home Depot or Lowe's. They do it both. I went to the clearance section. They always have a clearance section of paint. So I got this is primer. It's tinted primer. So someone was planning on buying it. They had it tinted blue. So either there was a mistake made or the people just never came back to pick it up, and then they put it in their clearance section. If you don't know, Home Depot and Lowe's both have that. You go there and you go to the clearance section. And so this probably costs, I'm just guessing, like $35, $45 for this can of primer. And I got it for $5. So they'll always have that clearance section of paints. So I just went straight there. Primer is perfect. I'll do a nice heavy coat, and hopefully that will help me in preventing the stink and the water and the manure from settling into the plywood, and help me keep it a little bit cleaner when I do go to clean out the pine shavings. Of course, I'll be doing pine shavings over that. So I'm going to, while I've got it all exposed before I start building the walls, I'm going to throw a coat of paint on it right now. And yep, going for a nice heavy coat. So I don't care about getting it all neat. plywood that I'll be using for the other coop. I'm only using half of it. I'll roll out the roller on this since I have so much paint on here. Might as well not let it go to waste, right? So this will be for the silky coop that I do. Oh, that's gonna be high. Okay, so the paint's all dry, so I'm moving on to the next step, starting to build the walls. That's the benefit of using primer, is that primer dries fast. So that's perfect. Now I'm gonna start building the walls. Okay, so I think that's enough for one day. I probably could have been a one-day job. I work slow, and I didn't get out here till noontime, and I had to stop and feed, and always busy. So got it all framed out, so not bad. Framed out with a coat of paint on the deck. Off the ground a little bit, just like I wanted, so you can get underneath. Framed it all out. Over here, these are going to be two big doors to open up so I can clean it out. This is going to be their door to go in and out. I left it kind of wide, 20 inches is what I wanted, and I'll go about 20 inches high. Got the roof sloping that way. We get a big snow load in the wintertime. If you build like a house or any kind of structure, not necessarily for this, but if you build something that has to be a 60-pound snow load, which means 60 pounds per square foot is what it has to be able to hold. I mean, I think this is going to be fine for ducks. I think I'm maybe even overbuilding it just a little bit. It's all 2x4s. I didn't use any 2x6s. I don't think that was necessary. So yeah, it's getting late. Sun's going down. I told myself I'd go in when the chickens go in. They're almost in. I can smell dinner being cooked. We're having our first pork chops from our first pig tonight. Looking forward to that. I'm hungry. So I'll come out here tomorrow and finish this up. So probably, hopefully keep it all in one video. Maybe not. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. How's your side?
You went out like that fence, right?
Huh? No, yeah.
This thing, I think it's gonna work out perfect.
Think
Because
so?
the bead right here.
Okay. All right, that'll be good then.
Right there?
Yeah. I could do something with the corners. All right, welcome back. It is day 3 of building this duck house. Like I said on the first day, it's really should have been a one-day build. Definitely for 2 people, it would be a one-day build. Last night I had my brother-in-law here helping me. That made things a lot easier. We got the roof knocked out. I still got to put the metal on it, but got all the OSB up there cut and put in place. Got all the T111 plywood, the sides in place, so that's good. Got it all framed out, so all ready to go. Well, all ready to go for the next step. So today I'm going to, so we left a little bit too much ventilation. I didn't plan it, exactly right. I just literally sat at my kitchen table planning this. So there are a lot of things I didn't take into consideration. The header beam for one, the 10-foot header beam, it should be going, I forgot it entirely. I didn't order a piece for it. Luckily, I had a 10-foot 2x10 in my shop left from previous owner. So I ripped that in half, so basically made 2 10-foot 2x4s out of it. I should have done the header beam, nailed it to the face, and had it going up and down this way. We took it and we laid it flat across. So if you're building a house or something, that's no good, because you don't have the most strength coming down this way when they're laying flat. They can bend that way. There's a lot of deflection if you put too much weight on it. You want it sideways, because that's where most of the strength is going sideways. All right. So I'm not worried about it with this. It's not going to be an issue with this. But by doing that, by not nailing it to the front, by laying it on top, what we did was we left way too much space up here for ventilation. It was just way too much. So I cut these 2x4s and stuck them in between each rafter. And so this way it blocks it a little bit. I still have ventilation. There's still going to be ventilation up here coming through. And I'm not going to cover it up. I want that ventilation. But it's not going to be so much that the wind's going to get in there, that predators can get in there. And the same thing with the sides, because we made that mistake. Not the sides, but the ends. The ends are lifted way too up. You can see that in here. It's way too high, much too high. It's too much of a gap. So I'm going to put a 2x4 across there as well on the outside. And so that will close it up a little bit, keep the wind out, keep the weather out, keep the predators out, but still have a proper amount of ventilation. Ventilation in a chicken coop or a duck house is extremely important. You have to have it, especially for ducks, because ducks will bring a lot of moisture into the coop with them. So it has to have somewhere to escape. Moisture inside a coop is just a recipe for disaster as far as respiratory issues and mold growth. You don't want that. No good. So you can't have a coop that's airtight. So I see a lot of YouTube videos where in the wintertime people are wrapping their coops in plastic. You gotta have some ventilation. If you wrap it in plastic, I get it, but you gotta at least leave some space at the top. You have to have ventilation in both a chicken and a duck coop, okay? Very important. You don't want it to be airtight. So that's what I'm gonna do today. This morning I'm gonna nail these in place. I'm gonna put those 2x4s on the side there on the top, and then I'm gonna cut these the T111 plywood. The T111 is, if you don't know what it is, it's this stuff here. It's that nice looking plywood exterior with the grooves in it, and it's tongue and groove as well. It just finishes it off nice looking. It was actually cheaper than regular plywood. It was $40 a sheet, so not as cheap as OSB, but cheaper than I think I paid for this sheeting, which is the basic bare bones plywood. I think I paid like $35 for this, and then $40 for the nice stuff. But if you got actually nice looking plywood that you were going to finish the sides with, like this stuff would have been really ugly to do the sides with. If you were going to get nice looking 3/4 inch plywood to do the sides with, you're spending a minimum of $55 a sheet. And that's only because it's come down a little bit. The prices are pretty low right now for lumber. It's gotten a lot better. But you could spend a lot more than that as well. The nicer plywood you go, the nicer the sanded finish, the more expensive it is. You can spend up to $75 for a sheet of plywood. That's just crazy. So anyways, the T111 is a really nice finish. I'm going to do that all along this side that I'm sitting in right now, except this side is going to open up. So here and here are going to be doors. So both the doors are going to open up wide. This is going to give me access inside the coop. I need access to clean it, for one, because the door that's going to be on the end, that's going to be their entrance and exit door. That's not going to be big enough for me to crawl through. So I need access. You need access to any coop. If you see my video about cleaning out the chicken coop, you see that I have a clean out door over there for that. You need to be able to clean all the shavings out, all the manure. And so now with ducks, you'll notice one thing that's missing from here that I'm not going to build in is a nesting box. So ducks do not use nesting boxes. You may have an outlier where it's like, no, I have this duck that uses a nesting box. Okay, but that's the exception. That's not the rule. Ducks generally will not use a nesting box. They'll lay their eggs anywhere that they feel safe doing so. A lot of times it's inside the coop, which is great because I can just open up the doors and grab them each morning. And a lot of times they're just laying around on the farm. Now we're going to have them in an enclosed space here, so that's good. My last house back down in California, when we moved out and we cleaned out the chicken run, and we had 2 ducks in that chicken run, when we cleaned it all out, and when we were done cleaning it out to sell the house, you couldn't even tell there was a chicken run there. It was cleaned up perfectly. My wife planted flowers there, made a flower bed out of it. It looked beautiful when we left. But as I was cleaning it, I went behind one of the bushes that was inside the run, and I think there was like 20 or 30 duck eggs in there. They had been hiding them. And every time I would go in and take the duck eggs every morning, the next day they would lay it somewhere else and they would bury it. So it was like an Easter egg hunt every day. So they knew I was taking their eggs and they didn't want me taking their eggs, which is ironic because they weren't broody. They didn't sit on the eggs. They just didn't want me taking them. So yeah, so that's why I'm not putting nesting boxes inside this coop. I'll just open up these big doors and grab the eggs each day. Hopefully if they lay inside, that would be the perfect scenario, but they're probably going to lay outside. They may lay underneath. So it's a hunt for duck eggs all the time. So that's what I'm going to do today, and hopefully this will be finished up today. And the ducks are 4 weeks old, 4.5 weeks old, almost 5 weeks. So hopefully by next week, by 5.5 weeks, I'd like to get them out here and brood them in here for their last week. So actually close them in and use this as a brooder. That way they know where their home is. They know where they have to go back to every night. Ducks do not put themselves away like chickens do. Chickens, you just wait till it's dusk, till it's almost dark, and they'll put themselves away. Very rarely, I have had chickens that would stay outside the coop all night. That's an outlier. That's not the norm. But generally speaking, chickens put themselves away at night. That's why you've always heard that old expression, chickens always come home to roost. That's where you get it from. Chickens will always go back to roost, almost always. Ducks won't, so we'll have to come out here. Again, this is kind of a contained spot. I think it's going to be plenty big enough for ducks. The overall length is going to be, I think we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, so we've got 36 feet and then 48 feet. So whatever that is, 4, 5, 6, 7, I don't know, 80 something feet by 15 feet. That's going to be the total run for them. It's going to be an L shape. So they're going to have plenty of space in here, but it's also nice that it's contained, so we're not searching all over the property for duck eggs. Granted, we are going to plan on free ranging them during the day in the warmer months. So hopefully there'll be a door in the pen over here in the garden, so hopefully they can go out there with the electric fence set up and they can free range a little bit. So all right, that's the plan, and we'll get to work and I'll stop yapping. Okay, so final day was yesterday on the duck coop. Took a little longer than I wanted. I got pulled away the other day. I think the last day I filmed, I got pulled away. I had to get hay. Then realized we were running so low on hay for the goats, and the feed store closest to us was closed, so I had to run up north to get 2 large bales of hay. So that took a while. So it's always some distraction on the farm. There's always something going on. So finished the duck coop. It's all done. It needs to be painted, and I think that's about it. It needs to be painted and filled with some straw or pine shavings. So I made some mistakes on it. Wasn't perfect. I don't think I'll point out my mistakes. I said, why bother? If you have any building experience, there's some glaring things that I did incorrectly, but I think it's gonna be sufficient for what we need it for. It'll definitely last. It's definitely built solid, but definitely some mistakes. And just like if you've watched any of my other videos, and my saying, it's not perfect, but it's functional. So same thing with this. So so I got a ramp on here. This is just 3/4 inch plywood that I had laying around. So 8 feet by 2 feet. So that was the absolute perfect size I wanted. Ducks don't do great with ramps, so that's why I wanted it 8 feet long. to come out all the way. That way it's not on a very steep slope. Nice, slow, low, slow slope for them to get up. Again, the only reason I didn't build it onto the ground for the ducks is because I wanted them to have that area underneath to get out of the weather, to get out of the sun, and also protection from aerial predators. We don't have a whole lot of issues with aerial predators. At least we haven't yet, but since they don't have any trees here, I definitely got to give them some protection. So I figured they can go underneath the coop if they want to. So that's why I lifted it up. That's why I had to do the ramp. Typically, you wouldn't put a duck house elevated so that they can just walk right into it. So there's their main door, entrance and exit right there. Shonda painted the door before I put it on. She's going to paint the whole house. She's going to paint it yellow. She wanted blue doors. She's going to do everything colorful out here, which I don't have a problem with. That'll be nice. All the coops will be different colors. So that'll be her and the girls painting that stuff. So like I said before, I made these two doors open all the way so that for two reasons. One, mostly to clean it out when we got to clean it out, but also to gain access to it to grab the eggs. As I said before, ducks do not lay in laying boxes, so they'll lay their eggs anywhere. Hopefully they lay them in here and we can grab them, but they'll also lay them outside, maybe underneath, maybe around their little run that we're going to build for them. So they'll lay wherever. So either way, that's why I wanted the access to it. Like I said, I made some mistakes. So I had my vents up top are way too big. So I cut the 2x4s and put them up here to block it for any predators. There's still airflow going in. You have to have airflow in any coop for ducks or chickens. You need ventilation. You need it to be a roof. You need so they can stay dry. And yes, even for ducks, you want them to stay dry for when it is cold, that they can come in and get out of the weather at night. Dry and windproof. That's pretty much for any livestock. Keep them dry, keep them protected from the wind, and pretty much any livestock would do fine. So that's what we got. So all around here is all windproof along the bottom. All the plywood goes down below the floor. And then we have vents up top. Everywhere there's a vent. There's a good sized one on each end. So plenty of airflow up top for the moisture and the moisture and the fumes from the ammonia from the manure to escape. So that's why you need good ventilation. It's key to any coop, whether it's ducks or chickens. So got that lock on there. I'm not gonna put a lock on it, but just use that like that. Should be fine. I'll take this one off. I couldn't get it to. Both of them were loose like that. So for this one, I put those magnets on there. Those magnets are awesome. These magnets are super, super strong. So I love those. I use those all over the place. I get them off Amazon. This is the back side. I would like to eventually cut a window in here and cover it with hardware cloth, and then have a door that covers it. So we can cover it for the wintertime and open it for the summertime and let even more ventilation in there. The roof is not done yet. I got to put a drip edge up front, some flashing up front, so I didn't screw it down all the way. I just got a row of screws to do up top after I put the flashing up there. But it's a metal roof. That should last a long time. Well, it will last a long time. The back side, I may put windows in there, like some plexiglass, cut some holes and put some plexiglass in there. They do sell chicken coop windows. I could do that as well, but then I got to frame those out. If I do plexiglass, I can just screw them in place and silicone around them and let that be that. So they wouldn't be open and closed windows. I would have to use the vents for that. So, like I said, it's not pretty, but I'm sure the ducks aren't going to mind. So that's it for the duck coop. And now it's time to get started on the silky coop. So the silky coop is going right over there, that way. And I'll video that as well. That's going to be a basic chicken coop. Now the same thing, silkies can go up ramps, but sometimes they're not great at it either. Silkies generally don't roost. Generally, the one silky that we have does roost. So I guess he didn't get the memo. And he roosts up top, he roosts up high. So some silkies do roost. So it's not guaranteed that they're not going to roost. So with that said, I'm going to do the same thing as far as a nice long ramp for them to be able to get up, because I've had silkies before that did not roost. I've had silkies before that would not go up a ramp and would sleep underneath the coop. I've had silkies that did go up the ramp but wouldn't roost in the coop. They would sleep on the floor. And now I have a silky that does roost. So you never know what you're going to get with the silkies. So I'm going to build the coop. It'll be half the size of this one. It'll be 4x4. This is 4x8. And it'll probably be about the same distance off the ground for the same reason, so silkies can get underneath it. So I'll have that video, and I'll try to keep these videos short. Just quick to the point. So at least see what we're doing here. So thanks for watching. See you on the next one.